strength and power, yours alone now and forever. Love this world could never stop. There is no one like our God, reaching down to touch the broken, mercy breaking through this moment. Watch and wonder on that day when time is over. Every heart at last proclaim, worthy is your name. Oh God, the glory is yours, the kingdom is come and the battle is over. Jesus, in your name we rise, and the glory is yours, the glory is yours. Oh God, the glory is yours, the kingdom is come and the battle is over. Jesus, in your name we rise, and the glory is yours, the glory is yours. Yeah. Nobody beside you, there has never been anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there has never been anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there has never been anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there has never been anyone, anything. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. No! Oh God, the glory is yours, the kingdom is come and the battle is over. Jesus, in your name we rise, and the glory is yours, the glory is yours. Oh God, the glory is yours, the kingdom is come and the battle is over. Jesus, in your name we rise, and the glory is yours, the glory is yours. Oh God, the glory is yours, the kingdom is come and the battle is over. Jesus, in your name we rise, and the glory is yours, the glory is yours. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. Nobody beside you, there will never be anyone, anything like you. It's your heart we're searching for. We want you and nothing more. Let your glory fill this place. We're alive in your presence. It's your heart we're searching for. We want you and nothing more. Let your glory fill this place. We're alive in your presence. We surrender all to you. Do what you want to, do what you want to. God, we love to see you move. Do what
Welcome, good morning. My name is Logan Hackworth. I'm the lead pastor of Renewed Church. I'm excited to start off today with our story series. This morning, in place of hearing a message, you're going to hear a true story from one of our members here at Renewed Church. We encourage you, if you have a story to share of your own, we would like to hear from you. Email us at info@renewchurch.org. We would love to hear your story. Without further ado, here's Levi Becknell.
Hi, my name is Levi, and I'm a faithful believer in Christ and a member of Renewed Church. Pastor Logan asked me to share my testimony with y'all today, and I'm pretty excited to do so. A little bit nervous because it's my first time doing this for an online service, but it's good to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. Hopefully somebody will be able to relate to what I've been through and what Christ has brought me through. So I'll just start from the beginning. I grew up in church. From a young age, I remember the cops always being at my house, and my dad, he was pretty heavy into drugs and alcohol. So some of my first memories was like of the cops beating on the door and looking for him and all that type of stuff. But other than that, I had a pretty good childhood. Went to church 3 times a week. As far as my relationship with God goes, I always believed in God, and I would always pray. And I remember when I was real young, always praying to Him that my dad would stop drinking and stop using, and that never happened. So like from a young age, I think I formulated a resentment towards God because of that, and I didn't really. I looked at God as like a big bully kinda, because I didn't get my way with Him. I didn't realize that my will wasn't always His will. At a young age, it was kind of hard for me to comprehend that. But I didn't have a lot of friends early on in elementary school. And I remember finding my identity in like troublemakers. When I first started making friends, they was all the troublemakers, all the ones that was going out behind the school and sneaking off and smoking cigarettes and all that. So I kind of got off with the bad crowd from the start. And I started using drugs, first like alcohol and weed, at the age of about 12. And I found my identity in that. Before that, I never was happy with myself. I was always like anxious, and I always was depressed. And as soon as I tried that first high, I remember just everything going away, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do from now on, like this. And it completely consumed my life. And from that point forward, I never really talked to God unless it was those like foxhole prayers. I would pray to Him when stuff was going bad, like when I was getting into a lot of trouble, or when I was afraid or something bad happened, I would pray. Other than that, my relationship with Him was pretty much non-existent. So I went all through school, getting in a lot of trouble, fights, sex, drugs, and alcohol, trying to fill the void inside that I know now, looking back at it, that it was what I needed, was a relationship with Christ. But the night of my high school graduation was the first time that I ever went to jail. And from that point till the next 2 or 3 years after that, I was in and out of jail like every 3 to 6 months. I was getting in trouble for fighting and drugs mainly. But one of my charges ended me in rehab. I elected to go to rehab for lesser consequences, just to get me out of jail pretty much. And the rehab that I went to was the Salvation Army in Dayton, Ohio, and it's a Christian facility. And once I got there, I really got with like-minded people. I got out of the environment. I got out of the streets for a little while. And I've met all these different people. I've seen this other way of life. And that's really where I met Christ for the first time, was when I got into that treatment center. I started praying, reading the Word, going to Bible studies and all that type of thing. But I didn't want to let go of my identity. I didn't want to let go of my image that I had built up in the streets. I had this image that I thought I had to uphold to everybody. I had to be this thug, I guess you could say, which I never really was, because I wasn't good at it. I always went to jail. Whenever I tried to live that life, I think everybody else knew that it was fake, but I wanted to try to uphold that image. And I didn't want to surrender completely to Christ. Like, I got a taste of it, and that's where I first got saved. But I turned my back from that shortly after, because I didn't want to give up all my old friends, all my old routines, all them old places I used to go to. So Once I got out of treatment, I got back with the same crowd, got back, got into selling drugs pretty heavy, and ended up, the cops came to this place where I was at, raided it, came in with guns and everything, and they caught me with some weed and a little bit of money, and they took my car. And I remember I let the guilt and the shame of, because I had got that taste of what God had planned for me, and like after that, like I just let that guilt and that shame just completely consume me, and I ended up hoarding up in a abandoned house for like 2 or 3 months, and running from my problems. They told me they was going to indict me. They took everything that I had, and I just went on a binge for about I'd say about 1.5 years. And in that time, them old resentments towards God came back up. Like I was cursing him. I didn't want nothing to do with him. I ended up getting caught. They dropped the felonies. I remember I kind of like made this bargain with God. I don't know if it was right of me to do, but like when they came and took all my stuff, I said one of those foxhole prayers I was talking about, how I would call on him only when times was bad. I said one of those. I was like, God, if you can get me out of this, I'm not gonna make my means of living off of that. Like I promise I will stop if you can just get me out of this. So 1 year went by, and I was constantly high and just running, thieving, just running the streets wild. And I ended up going to jail for another charge, and they brought me some paperwork and stuff. Ended up dropping all the felonies, gave me my car and everything back. And that's when I really knew, like, God is in this for me. Like, after all the times of me cursing him, me putting him down, like never trusting in him, always trying to trust in my own ability instead of his, and he got me through that. But that wasn't enough to make me turn it around. I kept drinking. I tried to substitute, like, I'm not going to do this drug, I'm just going to drink. And for me, that didn't work. Like, I really needed to go 100% full-fledged surrender to turn my life around. But I guess I wasn't ready at that point. I went about another year in and out of rehabs and jails, the streets, running around trying to manage things on my own ability. And it didn't work out for me. I would toy around with the thought of surrendering to God for a week or two, and then I would get bored. I would want to go back to hang out with the old friends. But around November 2018, I guess it was, I hit this point. I was in jail for something, and I just hit this point. I remember laying on my rack in jail and just thinking, God, please just show me what to do. Please, I don't want to do this anymore. And like, I was to the point where I didn't even know what to say to God. I was just like, please, I need you. I know I can't do this. I'll do whatever, just show me. And I broke down in tears and I started crying. And when I got out, I hit the ground running. I went to church and I went to meetings, and I did 12-step recovery programs, and I prayed. I got with the like-minded people every day. Like, I just completely surrounded myself with the good and with the people that I felt God had put into my life, like the people that had been there before, but that I had turned my back on because of my guilt and shame. I got pretty heavily involved in Celebrate Recovery and secular 12-step programs and in my church. And every day I just did something to better my recovery. I deleted my Facebook. That was something that I needed, was just to completely cut off access to anybody else. I changed the music I was listening to, the movies and stuff that I was watching. I had to completely just shift for it to work for me. And that's worked wonders. Since then I've been on mission trips to speak in jails. I've volunteered in my local Highland County jail. I was doing that up until this COVID thing. Every Friday I get to go in there and share the message of Celebrate Recovery and pray with people, talk to them about Christ, and it's been a real blessing. Since turning my life around, I've gained all the material things. Like, I've got vehicles, I've got my own place, there's lights and water and everything, but that don't amount to what I got inside, the serenity and just the peace that God has put over me. Actually, just this last Sunday, I celebrated 18 months clean and sober, and that's just by the grace of God, because left to my own devices, I haven't been able to put together 18 minutes clean. And every time I try to take my own will back, it it all just goes downhill fast too. I know that I can't do it. I got to keep praying to God, and every time something doesn't go my way, I can't turn my back on him, because I know that he's got a bigger plan than what I could ever imagine. And every time I try to do it my way, it never works. I hope somebody that's listened to this has been able to relate to what I can say. And if anybody's going through any struggles, addictions, any type of mental health problems, don't be afraid to reach out. Go to a church, visit, send someone a message on Facebook, get with somebody. Don't try to do it alone. Together, never alone. We never have to. Thank you for listening to my testimony, y'all.
Thank you for joining us for our story series this morning. Again, if you have a story that you'd like to share about how God is doing something amazing in your life, we would love to hear from you. Please email us at info@renewchurch.org. If you're interested in taking next steps as a believer, or walking through with faith and saying yes to Jesus for the very first time, contact us through our website, renewchurch.org. We have loads of information, a lot of good resources there for you to reach out and learn what those next steps may look like. If you're interested in financially supporting this ministry, we have a link for giving just above or below this video, depending on what you're watching it on. We look forward to hearing the stories next week and for the next several weeks. So tune in with us and be a witness to these amazing stories.
Lord bless upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you